Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 702. Now, in today's episode, we are talking about being undeniable. Now, what do I mean by being undeniable? I mean when it comes to your life, your success in being the person you desire to be. A while ago, as an analogy, as I was thinking about this subject, and this is how it kind of came into fruition, and it made me really want to have a close look in the mirror. So part of being undeniable is to recognize the things that you're good at, but also the things that you're not quite paying attention to. And one of the ideas which popped into my mind, which I think we can forget about, and it's just like in a context of relationships, here's what I was thinking about myself. I was saying or considering to myself, in a way, like, would I date myself in terms of like the qualities? If that person had the same qualities as me or the quite same habits as me, would I want to date that person? And it makes you like really think about who you are, because we can desire things, but if we're not really leveling up to that same expectation, like we can have the big dream and goal, but if we're not doing the work on the inside, how are we ever going to get there? Are we matching that frequency? Same thing with the analogy of a dating. Like, why could we want someone who's so wonderful, so kind, so passionate, and so abundant, yet within ourselves, we're not living up to the same expectations? And remember this, your expectations become your unconscious evaluations, right? So they become suggestions to your unconscious mind. So we want to get into that mindset of, if I truly want to have the success that will allow me to shine, that will allow me to flow through life, to get the results that I want, I've got to be undeniable. I've got to be so ferociously focused on leveling up my qualities, my skill set, my mindset, to be able to achieve what I truly desire. And that's why I think we've got to look in the mirror and go, look, am I missing something here? What standards am I setting up for myself while simultaneously wanting a goal and dream? Am I matching them? Am I becoming them? Because what we think about most of the time, we become. We've heard sayings like that in many different ways, from Buddha to like the Think and Grow Rich kind of stuff, law of attraction, what we think we become. And if our expectations, if we have like these sticking points of, and I'm not even saying consciously, yeah. On the one side, consciously, you've got to look in the mirror, right? You've got to be the person who does that. You've got to be the instigator of change. You've got to take responsibility for the goals, the dreams, the successes, the actions you do, the habits you have. You've got to have that inner look to really know what is happening. But looking in within that, then you start to become aware of the unconscious inner workings of it. You're shining a light on the things that need to change. So when you start to look within, you'll recognize that maybe there are some things happening within you which are actually working against your goal. Where you really, on the one hand, this is how I see it in my mind all the time. On the one hand, I may go, I want that promotion. I want that money. I want that abundance. I want that business. I want that relationship, whatever it is. So on the one hand, I have my goals and my dreams. And they can be big, they can be wide, they can be so massive and so beautiful. And you go, well, why would I not want that unconsciously? Because on that one hand, you just go, I want it. I need it. That's what I want, and I desire it so much. I'm going to radiate it. I'm going to think about it and do all the inner work and really kind of get onto the inside of the conscious level of learning. But if we go deeper and we start to then recognize that the standards that we're setting ourselves up for, that we've been conditioned by on a psychological, on an emotional, in a physiological level, we may have contradictions to that goal and dream on that one hand. There may be some limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, emotions that you've been holding on for so long that then allows that to be on the other hand. So on the one hand, you really desire it, but there's that other part of you that says, no, I'm not going to do the work because I might fail. I might get found out. I might just feel like things aren't going to work out for me because I might get success. And what does that mean to get success? Because I've never had it. So we have these fears about success. We have these fears about rejection. We have these fears of all of these things deep within us. That's what it's like for most people. Because we've gone through life's experiences. We've been conditioned into scarcity. We have been kind of so ingrained into one way of thinking at a deep unconscious level that no matter how much we want it on the one hand, we're going to be self-sabotaging ourselves because that energetic match or mismatch is creating the divide or the battle. It's causing us to go over this way but being pulled the other direction. So the first step is that you've got to decide that you are going to be totally undeniable now. That you're not going to have reasons. There's a conscious mind. You're not going to have reasons for staying the same. You're going to look deep within you and go, I am ready for more. That I desire it. Even if you feel like on the other level that, look, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm not good enough. Remember, that's unconscious. They're the beliefs that we have about ourselves. Those beliefs are always unconscious, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because if you could let them go, that belief, you would, right? You just kind of click your fingers and it'll disappear. But if you can't let go of that inner belief about yourself, where you don't feel worthy, deserving, or good enough, the fear, the worries, and the doubts of being found out, to be an imposter, all of those things, all the symptoms, all the stresses, all the conflicts, they're always going to be unconscious. To most of a degree, unless we are consciously choosing to remain the same. But if you decide today with me that you are ready to have a higher standard of success, where no matter what people say, and I trust me on this, it's happened to me time and time again, it happens to me to this day. People will say, who are you to go for that goal and dream? It happens. You'll have friends, you'll have family members who will not buy into your vision, won't buy into your dream, and that's okay, because it's not their dream, right? So that's okay. But they're usually self-reflecting and then allowing their suggestions about their life become your suggestions, which become the evaluations of your unconscious mind. So you've got to take a stand for what is right, for what is good, for what is going to be the biggest, wonderful, beautiful goal and dream that you could ever imagine. When you do that, when you decide today that you are going to start to put in motion a plan. The small steps. Doesn't have to be crazy big steps, and I like big steps in my life, but I also know that a lot of my success has come down to the small steps, the consistency. And when I also say about being undeniable, and this is another sentence that I thought about late last year, I think, or early last year, and that was ultimately to be so consistent that my results are impossible to be ignored. And the same thing, to be so undeniable that you go, this is my goal, and I'm going to assume 100% responsibility for making it a reality, regardless of what people say, regardless of what the world throws at me, regardless of the financial situation, the economical situation, the political situation, the social situation, all of that stuff. I'm going to be so undeniable in who I'm going to become, in what I desire, that I'm willing to do the work. I'm ready to do the painful work to a point. Now, I don't believe transformation is painful. In fact, when people work with me in my program, it's a liberating experience. But the painful part is to look in the mirror and go, oh my, I need to change today. I need to change last week. But since we couldn't do that, we start today. We assume the responsibility for all the things that we desire in who we are, what we do. So look in the mirror. Okay, look in the mirror right now. Now you could do this physically, like you can really look in the mirror. But you can also do this with your eyes closed, you can do this with your eyes open. You've got to pay attention. You've got to be honest with yourself. Because you cannot lie to yourself. You can lie to your friends, you can lie to your family, you can lie to your colleagues, you can lie to your employers, you can lie to your clients, all of that stuff. It is easy to lie. People do it all the time. Right? But you cannot lie to yourself. So take this opportunity, this moment of time to go, I'm ready to do the hard work by paying attention to what I'm really doing on the inside. Am I taking my goal, my dreams seriously? Am I putting more time and energy into my goal compared to putting it into my fear? Now that's a tricky one, right? Because most people in the world will put more time into their fear. They will dwell upon it, they will live in it, and for good reason, right? Because we're trying to protect ourselves from that failure. We're trying to stop ourselves from messing up, tripping up, all of those things. But once you begin to really think about it and face those fears and go, look, I have these fears, it's normal. I've been programmed, but I'm not going to give in to them. I always say to choose over fear is to choose to do what is right. And what is right is for your happiness. I believe for your wealth. I'm a big believer in building wealth because I've been poor and it doesn't feel very good. I've been in debt and it was horrible. But I had to wake up and decide that I want to be wealthy because I can then help more people. I can do more, I can give more, whether it be through my community, whether it be as in the external community, where my physical community or charities, but also the community of those people that I serve. The things that I do, the services, I want to level up everything. And I can do that by being wealthy because it gives us freedom to be able to help others. So we must get into that mindset that, look, I want to be wealthy, I want to be abundant, I want to be successful, I want to do all these things. So am I putting the work in to make that a reality? Am I willing to go through that initial pain, to look on the inside? So really think about it right now. Spend a couple of moments. Allow this time for you to make a powerful decision. Are we living up to the expectations of our goals and dreams? Are we assuming responsibility in being undeniable in our success? Are we putting the work in? Are we being consistent? Think about those. Eyes open, eyes closed. Of course, if you're driving, don't do any of that with your eyes closed. Just think about this. Are you being consistent, so consistent that results are impossible to be ignored? Are we buying into other people's fears? Are we buying into our own programming that was given to us, or the events that we've gone through where we've hypnotized ourselves to stay the same? Are we choosing to feel more fear? Now, if you get some internal conflict here and that doesn't feel right to you, it's okay. Some things I'll say to you right here, right now, will push up against your values because I'm proposing a different paradigm of living your life to be successful. So I will take that if there is any conflict there. If you feel like, Joseph, I'm not this, I'm not that, and it's not my fault, all these things, and I'm not even saying it's your fault, but I'm saying that if we're going to change, we must assume responsibility because other people who did us wrong, they're not gonna fix us. We've got to do that. So go on the inside and really think about us. Look in the mirror and go, am I putting in the work? Am I spending more time on social media than my goals, my dreams, and my passions? Am I on Netflix or Amazon Prime or YouTube or all of those kind of things? Are you putting more time into things which aren't increasing your wealth, your abundance, your relationships, your career, your happiness, your well-being, your wholeness, your healing, your health? Are you not putting effort into that compared to the comparison of the other things that you're doing? Now, if you are, good and great, the success is coming your way. I really believe that, because you're now starting to be resilient. You're starting to be adaptable. You're starting to radiate and having that higher level of being undeniable. I want that to be a part of your identity. I want that part of you to go, look, I'm going to get the results by being so consistent that it's impossible to be ignored, that I am impossible to be ignored. Where I'm going to the world, the universe, or to your truth, or to your friends, wherever you say it out loud inside, that you are going, this is my goal, this is my dream, this is who I am. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this a reality and be the person that I desire to be, that I want to become. That I start to predict and dictate my results. Yes, the world can conspire in our favor too, but it only conspires in our favor once we start to assume responsibility in making that change. And that is the conscious work I'm talking about. Because the gateway to the unconscious transformation is the conscious inner reflection of what is really happening. What's the clarity here? Am I doing the work? Am I putting the time in? Am I getting up earlier than other people who are going for the same goals and dreams? Am I prioritizing this and that and the other? Because sometimes you may have to give something up. Yes, you're going to give up some time. Sometimes you're going to give up certain social things. Sometimes you're going to give up certain aspects of other areas of your life in order to acquire the goal and dream, and then you can get balance back again, or I like to say harmony. But are you putting the work in? Because that's when you get undeniable results. That is where you start to live the life that you desire, and I believe each and every time that you deserve. It is your birthright, in my opinion, that you should be able to have the inner emotional, psychological freedom. Whether it be the external things, whether it be that, like, in other words, our career or our business or our relationships, because they're all external things to a degree, right? They're outside of our own physical body. But I'm also talking about the deep inner part of you, which is so precious, that is so peaceful, that is so loving and so one, in my opinion, even love, in my opinion. Are we putting our time in nurturing that? Because otherwise, as I said, if we bring back and close the loop, your suggestions, if we think about it in a way that, like, your evaluations, your priorities, your standards become the suggestions to your unconscious mind. So we don't want to be going, look, I really want all of these things, when I'm not really putting the time and effort into those things. And I think, and look, I don't want to go like crazy and I might get a little bit of hate, but sometimes I feel like we take the easy route out. We buy into the reasons, and we see it in society a lot. I think that, look, yeah, we've had lots of hard times, and I know many people have had so much more hard times than me. But let's not rely on living in the pain. Let's come together as a community. Where it be on the podcast, where it be on the live stream, where it be your neighbors, where it be your friends, come together as a community where we start to raise up those standards, where we start to connect with one another, where we start to be so undeniable in our success, so connected to who we are, because we live in this fast-paced world. We wake up, we get on our phone, we check our emails, sometimes before we even get out of bed. That's not life. Are you connecting with who you are when you wake up? Are you putting that time and energy to cultivate, as I said, that inner peace, that love, that contentment, that tranquility, the abundance, the joy, the happiness? Because that's where you come into this equation. The first part of the equation is you looking at that. Because when we do that, we don't have blame for our circumstance, despite if we've been wronged in the most horrible ways. I think the biggest and greatest way to change and show people of your transformation is to be the example. To not let people, not let your past, not let the trauma, not let the wrongdoings win ultimately. We want to be the winners. We want to be undeniable. So take a look within yourself. Are we surrounding ourselves with the people that lift us up? That's one of the biggest things I think I've thought about the last couple of years is, am I surrounding myself with people who lift me up? Because if I'm being surrounded by people who pull me down to that energetic frequency, where it be verbally, physically, and all those kind of things, if I'm consciously allowing it, right? I know we've been programmed, I know those situations was very hard to get out of, so I'm not taking this lightly. But if we are having that surrounding of people who are pulling us down, we've got to make that decision to look for something else. We've got to look to be able to welcome new people into your community, even if it means leaving old communities which aren't serving you. They may have their best intentions, they may have their ideas and their goals and their dreams, but if you don't feel like there's that energetic match there, maybe it is time to break up with that community to a degree, right? We got to go and look at our own values, because we're not serving them by playing into that frequency. We're not being the example of what can be done if we live in that reality. We want to be able to level up. So please, please, please be undeniable in your success. Have that assumption with the responsibility. Take a look on the inside. If I have a limiting belief about myself, right? And I do still, and I'm working on things. If I've had limiting beliefs about money before, I've had limiting beliefs about relationships, I've had limiting beliefs about careers and things like that. If I start to become consciously aware of them, I start to do something about them. So don't let life pass you by, because we're going to regret it. We're going to have shame, we're going to have guilt as to why we didn't do the hard, good work. Trust me, it's a lot harder staying in pain. It may feel normalized because we've been through it and lived in it, but look in the mirror and go, look, I'm ready to shine. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. I'm going to focus and look for the core issue that I have. And that's what I believe, by the way. The hidden root cause is usually one thing, maybe two, but one thing unconsciously that if you solve today or in the very near future, you will let go of every symptom that you experience. The symptoms, the anxiety, the worries and the doubts and the fears are pointing to the cause. But we think that that is the issue. But no, we've got to find the hidden root cause. And here's the thing. There's many ways of doing it. Now, I can't do that on these live streams. For those listening to the podcast, it is broadcasted live on YouTube and Facebook and so on. But I can't do that on a mass level because you've had your unique experiences. But there are people out there who can help you. There are professionals. So seek out the external, profound expertise out there. For example, I work with people who want to be able to level up their business and their career. Mainly, high performers who feel like an imposter, where they have these goals and dreams and desires, but something is making them feel like they're going to get found out, that they're going to, one day it's just going to all kind of fall apart, where they fear rejection, where they fear success in itself. They're not being good enough, worthy, or deserving. And I help people make that transformation in a very short period of time by working on the root cause. And it's not for everyone. In fact, I don't want to work with everyone because it's impossible for me to do that on an individual and group level. We have a very small number of clients that we actually work with. But if you do not fit into that, if that's not something that you desire or you feel like you're ready for, then of course you can download things like the free hypnosis app, and that's going to help you. That's going to assist you. freehypnosis.app. You can listen to hundreds of free episodes. There's 702, which is like 350 hours of content, hundreds of hypnosis sessions, all within the app. That's what I like to think is what I'm trying to help people with for free. But also you can transform in the day, transform in the night as you go to sleep. Choose the right subject which you feel is more to the root of what you're going through. You can even create custom tracks to be able to support you with that as well. So if you enjoy it, leave a review. That always helps. Like, I want to be able to create a movement. Like I said, I want a community where we can come together and transform in the most beautiful way, and I would say enlighten the illusionary darkness. That's what my goal and mission is. I want to be able to serve people. But of course, if you did want to be able to apply to my program, you can go to josephclough.info/talk. And that is where you'll be able to book a time to speak with us. It'll be a Zoom call, and we're clear on exactly where where you are, what you want to let go of, in other words, what's getting in the way, where you want to be, getting to more of the root cause, and we'll come up with a plan of action to solve it all within 8 weeks. That's what we do day in, day out. I love it in every single way. That's josephclough.info/talk. But you've got to book a call, fill out an application. We only work with a small amount of people. And like I said, they've got to be really reliable, committed, driven, willing to be invested in their future, knowing what the abundance and freedom gets them. But that is what we do in each and every way. But there's plenty of options out there for you. But it first starts with you, in choosing and deciding and committing to level up your standards, to be able to have greater evaluations, to be able to allow those to become suggestions to your unconscious mind, and to be and choose to be totally undeniable. Totally undeniable. Commit to it. Decide upon it. Once you do that, look within you and figure out what's happening there beneath the surface that needs to be solved today or in the very near future. For when you do, you will never, ever regret it, because you'll have that lifetime or the rest of your life in freedom. And that's a beautiful thing to me. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and just know I believe in you so, so much. So much. So let's go ahead and make that change. So with that, I'll speak to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.